Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So here's what we are going to do today. First, we are going to learn about verb to be. Then we are going to learn about subject pronoun, and lastly we are going to learn about possessive adjective. So let's begin our lesson today. But before that, let us begin with recapping the previous lesson, which is the vocabularies on lesson 1. There were 15 vocabularies that we have learned, so let's recap them one by one. Okay, so the first one, video games. Next, music. The next one is art. Then the next one, reading. Watching TV. Films. Animals. Cooking. Skateboarding. Cycling. Photography. Sport. Shopping. Chatting online. And lastly, meeting friends. Okay, so that's the 15 vocabularies that we have learned before. So what you need to do for this week, you need to spell the correct words according to the pictures. So by the end of the lesson, I will post the links in Google Classroom or maybe below this video about the quizzes link to play. So what you need to do is you need to do spelling. How do you spell? You can type the correct spelling according to the pictures. All the question will be about the 15 vocabularies that we have learned. Okay, but that's after the video. For now, let's proceed. Okay, so the first thing that we are going to learn today is about subject pronoun. Okay, so what are subject pronouns? Subject pronouns, it is I, he, she, it, we, they, and you. You might have seen this before in year 1, year 2, year 3 or year 4. Subject pronouns refer to ourselves or someone else or something. Okay, for example, look at this girl. This is Jasmine. She is from Italy. Okay, if you look at the picture, this is Jasmine. Jasmine is human. Jasmine is a girl, a woman. So for woman, we use the subject pronoun she. So that is the first example. Okay, there are many types of subject pronouns. For example, if we are referring to man or boy, we use the subject pronoun he. For example, you can see here, Jack, my brother, or the police. Okay, so whenever you see someone's name, if he's a boy or a man, use the subject pronoun he. Okay, next we have the subject pronoun she. The subject pronoun she, we can only use it for a girl or a woman. Please take note, remember, when you use the subject pronoun he, she, it, or I, it means that there's only one person. So, for the subject pronoun she, the example here you can see Jasmine, your sister, and the nurse. Okay, next we are talking about the subject pronoun it. The subject pronoun it refers to something that's not human. It can be a thing, it can be animals, or even flower. If you look at the example here, you can see the cat, flower, photo, or book. Then we have the subject pronoun they. When we use the subject pronoun they, it means that we are referring to many people. For example, when we use the subject pronoun they, you can see the example Jack and Jasmine. There are two people here, Jack and Jasmine. Tables, look at the word s, and dogs, look at the word s. It means that there are more than one people. It's the same thing with we. We, it means that you, Jack and Jasmine, Jack and I, Jasmine and I, my friend and I. It means you and someone else, more than one. Then lastly, we have the subject pronouns I and you. Okay, for these two, it refers to only you, yourself. But for you, it can refer to you, one person, or you are talking about you to many people. Okay, so that's the type of subject pronouns. Okay, let's move on to the next one. Let's learn about verb be or verb to be. So what is verb to be? Okay, there are two types of verb to be. The first one is called affirmative. Affirmative here means to confirm or to say yes. So there are two types of affirmative pronouns, which is singular pronoun, which is for one person, I, he, and she. Okay, so when we use singular pronoun, it is always followed by am or is. Okay, so for the first one, am, we only use am for I, so we'll always say I am. We cannot say he am or she am. Okay, so when we use am, the next one is. We use he is or she is. We cannot say he am or she am. So I am, or you can use the short form I'm, and then he is or she is, and the short form is his or she's. So remember, when we use the singular pronoun I, he or she, and then it's followed by am or is, it means that we are saying yes to something. For example, I am 10 years old means that you are saying yourself you are 10 years old. You are agreeing. You say yes, I am 10 years old. It's the same thing with is. For example, he is handsome means you agree he is handsome, right? She is beautiful means that you agree she is beautiful. Okay, the next one, we have plural pronoun, means many people. We have they and we, and then the special you. Okay, so for this pronoun, plural pronoun or many people, When we want to confirm or when we want to say yes, we use the pronoun they are, we are, or you are. Okay, they are, we are, or you are. Or you can just say they are, we are, or you are. Okay, so this first one is to confirm, to say yes, to agree. And then we have another one when we want to say no, we don't agree. It's called negative pronoun, negative verb to be. We have singular for one person, I, he, and she. And then we use am not and is not. Instead of am and is, we add the word not. It means that we don't agree. We say no. So when we say I am not, and he is not, she is not, I am not, he is not, she is not. Okay, for I am not, we don't have any short form, but for is not, you can also say he isn't or she isn't. Okay, this one, I, he, she. I am not. I use am, not, and he, she use is not. This one is for one person. For many people, we have plural pronoun, they, we, and then the special you. You can be one person, you, and then can be more than one. Okay, so for these three, they, we, you, instead of are, we use are not. So they are not, we are not, and you are not. That is the long form. For the shorter one, you can just say they aren't, we aren't, or you aren't. Okay, so these are the two types of verb to be, affirmative and negative. So let's look at the example. Okay, the first one. Look at the picture. There are many horses there. There are more than one. So look at the sentences. Horses, animals. Okay, if you look at the table just now, horses, is it human? No. Remember, for non-human, we can only use two types of subject pronoun, which is it or they. Okay, so for the horses, look at the S here. It means that there are more than one. So you cannot use the subject pronoun he, she, or it. So you cannot use verb to be is. Remember, after the pronoun is always verb to be. So the only one you can use here is they are, or they aren't, or they are not. Okay, look at the sentence again. Horses, animals. Are horses animals? Yes, horses are animals. So the answer should be horses are animals. Okay, let's look at one more example. I interested in video games. Okay, are you interested in video games? I here, the only thing is am or am not. So let's take Mr. Zack for example. I am interested in video games because I like video games. If I don't like video games, the answer here should be I am not interested in video games. Okay, so let's take one last example. Oxford in Malaysia. Okay, so Oxford is in England or in the UK. So is it yes or no? Oxford is a place. It's not human, so we can only use it and they. Okay, so there's only one Oxford in the world, so we cannot use they because there's only one Oxford. They are for more than one, so they are is wrong. I mean they aren't, they are not is wrong. So the answer should be Oxford isn't in Malaysia because Oxford is in the UK. Okay, now I want you to do some exercise. You can do it in EX if you write it, or you can print it out and put it in WS. Okay, so for number 1, I isn't or am not from London. He's or here good at sport. They isn't or they aren't my friends. You are into music. Mr. Zack are or Mr. Zack is a teacher. Okay, so there are 5 sentences here. What you need to do is you need to choose the correct answer for the sentences. Okay, let's look at number 1. I. Let's look at the subject pronoun I. Just now, when you see the subject pronoun I, what should you do? Should you put is or am? Yes, the answer is I'm not from London because is only for he or she. So let's look at number 2. He. He is for boy or a man, and it refers to only one person. So he's good at sport or he are good at sport. Yes, the answer is he's good at sport. Let's look at number 3. Let's look at the word they. The pronoun they means that there are many people. When we use the pronoun they, the verb to be should be aren't. They aren't my friends because when we use the pronoun they, the answer should be are or aren't. The next one, you. You can be one person or it can be many people. So here, remember, you, although it's one person, we will always use are because it's special. You are into music. And lastly, let's look at the subject pronoun. Subject pronoun, it can also be a name, so you need to identify if it's a man or woman, a boy or girl. So look at the word Mr. here. Mr. means man. Mr. Zack are or is a teacher. How many Mr. Zack? There's only one Mr. Zack, so the answer should be Mr. Zack is a teacher. Okay, so this one you should do it in your EX or WS, depend on you, but if you need time you can pause it and click play when you finish. If you don't, you can just do it later after. You can just repeat the video after the lesson is finished. Okay, let's move on to the next one. Okay, the second lesson. Zebras from London. SJKC Tiram in Brazil. My classmate 12. The name of this book, English +1. I interested in video games. Okay, so we have learned about subject pronoun and verb to be. There's a lot of them just now, so you need to identify the keyword. So look here, the first pronoun, zebras with S. Okay, zebras. What are zebras? Zebras, they are non-living animals. So when non-living animals, if there's only one, we use it, but if there's more than one, we use they. So zebras here means there are more than one. So if there's more than one, we use the pronoun are. Zebras are from London. I mean, the zebras came from London. The real zebras in the wild, it came from Africa. Okay, so look at the next one. SJKC Tiram in Brazil. So you know what is SJKC Tiram, right? It's our school. Is it in Brazil? No, it's not. So there's only one. The answer should be SJKC Tiram isn't or is not in Brazil. The next one, my classmate. Look at the word classmate. If there's no S, it means that there's only one. So my classmate 12. Okay, so you are in year 5. How old are you? You are 11. So are your classmate 12? No. Okay, so for this one, I made a mistake. This one should be isn't. It's not aren't. So my classmate isn't 12. You cannot say my classmate aren't 12 because there's only one classmate. Okay, let's move on to the next one. The name of this book, English Plus One. Okay, so what you're studying for year 5, the book's name is English Plus One. So the answer is this book. There's no S, only one. The answer is. Next one, I interested in video games. Okay, for this one, there are two answers. Like I said just now, if you like video games, you should answer am. But if you don't like, you should answer am not. So it's up to you whether you want to say I'm interested or I'm not interested in video games. And for the last one, I from Malaysia. I, remember when it's I, whether you like it or you don't like it, it's always use am. So the answer here is yes, I'm from Malaysia. Unless you are not born, you are not a Malaysian, you should write I am. If you are not Malaysian, then maybe you can write I'm not from Malaysia. Okay? Alright, so there's one more exercise for verb to be. Mark is from Paris. He is from Paris. What you need to do is look at the subject pronoun, the first one, first sentence, and change it to the subject pronoun like this one. Mark is a boy, so he is from Paris. Okay, this book is good. So you should write the one I put yellow here. This one, this book. Change it like this one. Book, what is it? Is it living? He, she, it, they, we. You change it here. And then put is good. Okay, next. Jen and Ed are from the UK. Anya and I are friends. You and Mick are brothers. So this one I want you to do by yourself. I will put the answer in the next lesson. If you have anything to ask, you can just ask me later. So this one is your third exercise for today. Okay, so next we are going to learn about possessive. Okay, this is wrong. It's not possessive pronoun. This is possessive adjective. Adjective. I'm sorry for the bad handwriting. I'm using mouse. Okay, let's go to what are possessive adjectives. Okay, so possessive adjectives, it is his, her, its, their, our, my, and your. It means that we want to show that it belongs to you. So he, his, she, her, it, its, they, their, we, our, I, my, and you, your. Okay, so when we use possessive adjective, we always have a noun after the word. For example, possessive adjective is always followed by nouns. It's like this. Okay, so these are the examples of possessive adjectives: his, her, its, their, our, my, your. And then we have two types of nouns. The first one is a living things. For example, parents, pet, brother, and friends. And then we have the other one is non-living, like car, house, books, and hobbies. So how are we going to do this? Let's look at the example. Okay, for living things, this is my friend Jasmine. Her parents are doctors. So look at the possessive adjective. Where are the noun? Friend are noun. It's a living things. So the possessive adjective here is my. Okay, the next one, her parents. Parents is the noun. The possessive adjective here is her. The first one, this is my friend. It means that the friend belongs to you, to me, I, my. And then the second one, her parents. The parents belong to her, she, Jasmine. Next, I'll give you another example. Our house is next to their house. This is a non-living thing example. Our house is a noun, so our is the possessive adjective. Next to their house is also pronoun, noun. It belongs to their. Okay, the first one, our house, means it's belong to us, we, I and my family. And then their, it belongs to them or they, someone else and their family. Okay, so for the last exercise today, I want you to do it in EX or WS again. Okay, so read the text. There are two answers for each sentences. I've already highlighted it. For example, number one, this is I, my friend Mary. Choose the correct possessive adjective and circle them, or you can just write the correct answer here. Okay, I'm not going to give you all the answer. I'm just going to give you one example. Number one, this is my friend Mary. So the rest of it, this one, I want you to do it in your EX. I'll give you the answer in the next lesson. So if you haven't done the correction for our previous lessons, please do your correction. Okay, so this one, try to do it by yourself. You can ask me, you can ask your parents, and that's it for this week. So that's for today. Make sure to do all works and send it through WhatsApp or Google Classroom. If you have any question, do ask, and I'll reply it when I can, because I live in Kampong and the line is not very good. So see you next week. Bye guys.